What's going on, guys? It's Seth. Today we're talking about what I learned from my failed dividend portfolio. This is kind of a free-form video. Most of my videos are free-form, where I kind of just go and I talk about what's on my mind with dividend investing because it's kind of boring, so I guess this makes it fun. No, dividend investing is exciting. Super exciting. So let's talk about it because there's a lot I want to go over. And specifically, this is what I learned from my dividend investing portfolio failures. So to start with, first off, something that I've done is I dollar cost averaged into individual stocks like Coke, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson. My past couple videos, I've been talking about this a lot because it's something that really hit me hard. And what I realized is I was vastly underperforming the market. My dividend income was growing. It wasn't growing a lot, but it was growing. And what I mean by not growing a lot, Coke was growing its dividend by 5-6%. That's not really what I'm looking for. Same as Johnson & Johnson, 7%, 8%. Now, don't get me wrong. This is kind of just all opinionated, right? None of this is fact. These are just my opinions. And obviously, this isn't financial advice. There are dividend YouTubers who invest in individual holdings, and they do really, really well. And what I mean by invest in individual holdings is they have a portfolio of 20 to 30 stocks, sometimes even less, maybe 12 to 30 individual holdings, and that's their investment portfolio, and they kind of create their own ETF. And I think that's great, and I think that is wonderful if you have the time to research. Now, I know you hear people say all the time, because I did, oh, don't invest into individual holdings if you don't know about it, right? But that didn't stop me, because everyone on YouTube was investing in Realty Income, Johnson & Johnson, Coke, Procter & Gamble, companies like that. Everyone was investing into those, and I thought, I can invest into them. I'll just watch YouTubers, see when they buy, I'll buy, that sort of thing. And I'll tell you right now from firsthand experience that doesn't work. And why it doesn't work is because you still have to buy these individual stocks at the right price. And there's some YouTubers, for example, like PPC Ian, who go into extreme depth. If you guys watch his videos, the research that he does to make sure he's buying at the most opportune time, right? And he's weighing the risks. I don't do deep dives like that into individual holdings, which is why it's not for me. And I didn't really understand that until I saw how much I was underperforming the market, right? I was literally, my portfolio is $72,000. If I just invested into VOO or VTI, I'd be close to $80,000 in my portfolio for the principal. Now, obviously, with dividend investing, the goal is to not necessarily, it is to grow your principal, but you're not too focused on that. You're focused on growing your dividend income. But when you're down $8,000 just to the broader market, like VOO, VTI, SPY, whatever, it takes a toll, and it doesn't feel good, right? It's not the best feeling. So with that being said, again, take everything I say with a grain of salt, but this is just what I've learned for myself. And what I've learned is investing into dividend ETFs and dollar cost averaging into that is better for me. Dollar cost averaging into the market, the S&P 500, is better for me. Right. It might not be better for you, right? I'm getting all postmodernist up in here, right? What may be true for you isn't true for me. What may be true for me isn't true for you, yada, 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 all that stuff. But really where I'm trying to go with this is I still want to get great returns, but I still want to grow my dividend income. And I realize I can do that at the same time without dollar cost averaging into Home Depot or Lowe's or Lockheed Martin. This is just my personal journey, and what I've kind of realized is I don't go super in-depth like I should into owning these individual stocks. And if you do, great. I think that's wonderful, and that's a great way to invest. I can't do that because I'm not, we'll say, smart like that. I'm more emotional, right? I like stories. If I hear a good story about a company, I'll buy it, regardless of necessarily what the specific numbers are, right? As long as they have free cash flow, that's great, and we're all good, right? Because, if they have cash flow, they can compound and, pay dividends and grow their dividends. But I wasn't going into the nitty gritty of, when is actually the right time to buy? When is the right time to buy? So with that being said, my strategy has kind of shifted the past 2 years, and I've really focused on building up these core positions here: SCHD, DGRO, VOO, and VTI. I plan to grow VOO and VTI immensely, right? That's my plan. I want this to be a much larger part of my portfolio, and that's my next goal, is to grow these positions. And then when I'm ready to live off of the dividend income, I will sell these 2 positions and I will put it into higher yielding assets, right? Higher yielding dividend ETFs. That's my plan. I think for a while I'm done messing with most individual stocks. Now, don't get me wrong here. I still have money allocated towards individual holdings, but it's holdings that I am comfortable holding. I was comfortable holding J&J, I was comfortable holding Lowe's, I was comfortable holding Procter & Gamble. But the issue with that was it's just too much. It was too much for me to learn about. I am very confident holding these few individual holdings that I have right here. I'm very confident, right? Visa, I've done a lot of research on. Realty Income, I've done a lot of research on, and I've bought at right prices, right? My total return for Realty Income is almost 25%. Now, a lot of people are down right now because they just bought, when it was in the 60s, they bought at really high prices. And that's what I did with these other individual holdings, and it kind of killed me. So if you are into dividend investing, I think that it's great. But I think dividend investing gets a bad rap because of what I'm talking about right now. It is very possible and easy to underperform the overall market if you buy at the wrong price, and it's hard to time. Your buys. It really is difficult. You need to know about the company, and it took me 2 years to learn this because I lost almost $8,000, and that's what it took, for me to realize what I'm looking at here. So you can see, I don't really have too much money allocated into these individual holdings. I'm actually trying to get this part of my portfolio. You can see right here my individual holdings once it loads. I'm trying to get it to 15%. You see, this is my allocation, 1585. Right now my weighting is 7128, so 70-30. But I'm trying to get this more towards 15% of my portfolio. All of these holdings, will be about 15%. So that means each of these individual holdings won't be more than 1 or 2% of my overall portfolio, right? I'm very confident in these individual stocks here, and I'm comfortable holding them, meaning in a down market, I will not want to sell because I'm confident in what I hold because I've done the research. And that's what I really encourage you guys to do, is just do your research. Joseph Carlson is a great example, right? He has 12, 13, 14 holdings. I'm sure you guys watch Joseph Carlson. And he does some crazy research on his individual holdings on when to buy. I don't do that. And that's why I can't really invest the way that he invests, because 1, I don't have the passion for it. 2, I don't make the time because I have other stuff that I want to do. Right? I don't really want to do a deep dive into the free cash flow of Johnson & Johnson and how that's looking. I really don't. It's kind of boring for me. Now, I am passionate about doing that with Visa. It's a little different for me. I'm passionate about doing that with Realty Income because it comes a little easier because I understand these companies. I understand Realty Income. I understand Costco. I understand MasterCard. I understand EPD. Right? I get how this works. I get how ARCC works. I understand business development companies, right? And that's why. But I have a little bit of my money allocated to these individual holdings. So again, for all the bogleheads out there, right, the people who go for just straight up growth, I think that's great, and I think you could definitely achieve that with dividend investing, but you have to put in the time, you have to put in the knowledge, you have to put in the effort to learn how these companies work and when is a good time to buy them. That's just hard to do, right? That's why it's really hard to beat the market over long periods of time. And that's just what I've come to find. Obviously, this is all my opinion, right? None of this is necessarily fact. With investing, who knows, right? Who knows what's going to happen? No one. But this is just what I have found on my personal journey with investing in the past pretty much 2 years. You can see here, I did start this portfolio in 2020. I sold out of all my positions because I just wasn't emotionally there. I just wasn't there yet. So I really started this portfolio in August, September of 2022. So it's coming on almost 2 years here. We've grown this portfolio to $72,000. So things have been going good. And my dividend income is great. It's just over $2,000 annually. In the next 3 months, I'm going to be making over $700, right? Which is wonderful. I hope this isn't boring for you guys. I'm really passionate about this stuff, right? Maybe helping others just be wise with their money. I've come to really love it. It's funny, whenever I talk to people on the street, we actually end up just talking about finances. I don't know how it ends up talking like that, but we end up talking about, what they do for work and, how inflation is killing us and, how investing can offset that. And we kind of just go down the rabbit hole, and I end up learning about, what their view is of finances, and it's my passion. So I hope you guys find this entertaining, or at least a little bit interesting, with my insights and how I view dividend investing and how I view investing. I'm certain, right, that in the next 5 years, I'm going to learn a lot more, and hey, maybe my strategy will change. I don't know. 2 years ago, I would have told you I would never change my strategy, and I was 100% confident in what I was doing in that moment. And now I'm 100% confident in what I'm doing in this moment. So we'll see how the future looks, and we'll look back on this video in 2 years and see where it's at, right? Again, I'm not trying to give financial advice. I'm kind of just documenting my journey and what it looks like. That's the point of this video, and to maybe encourage you guys to do your research, invest, live on less than you make, and invest more, save more, right? It's not really about what your salary is, because I only make $65,000 a year. That's it. And I was able to grow this portfolio to $72,000 in 2 years. I have some other side hustles. I work really hard, and I save close to 70% of my income, right? 70, 75%, just depends on the month. That's the video I wanted to make today, guys. I hope you found some value in it, and stay tuned for the next one. If you like it, I made a promise I was never going to ask you guys to subscribe, because, I just like making these. So if you want to subscribe, do it, whatever. Obviously I would appreciate it, but I'm not going to ask, because sometimes I don't like when YouTubers ask. They're like, the first thing they say is subscribe. It just seems a little cheesy to me. So maybe I'll put it at the end here and say, if you're listening still, why not? And just hit that subscribe button. Whatever. I guess it helps me a little bit. Oh God, I never thought I would do that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. See ya.